There's a piece called The Vagrant with the Rotting Hand, which came from a shot in the newspaper a couple months ago of a vagrant in downtown Port-of-Spain and a man holding him as the flesh was falling off of his hands. So it gets a little more poignant and sort of starts tugging at people's feelings, hopefully. I think what the Atlanta experience did was just confirm that we were on a certain track in terms of the work that we were doing. So, I mean, when we went into the Atlanta experience, and Judy Chabola, who's the head choreographer and staging director from that production, she's here with us in Trinidad, and she's just looking on and offering advice and whatnot. And I had the privilege of working with her and learning from her, because her approach is very methodical and calculated and almost mathematical. But she's also brilliant at motivating masses of people. So it was just getting the confidence to know that we were on the right track, that we could pull from that experience to do what we do here in a little more focused and concentrated manner. And we also brought a lot to the Atlanta experience because the Carnival had already prepared us for large-scale, intense productions. And as a matter of fact, we were able to deal with it a lot better than people who'd never been exposed to that kind of intensity and jamming down in the end. I am more and more aware of the importance and the potence and the power of the mass, and the playing of the mass. Particularly, that's been my focus in the last couple of years. You know, the power within the playing of the mass. I imagine, I never really had to think about it and put it into words. It's more a sensation or feeling. I know what I feel when I stand on the side of the stage and I see the mass played. I know what I feel, and I know that it is real, and I know that it is something I'm blessed and fortunate enough to be doing this. Preceding the Tapestry of the Spirit, we start getting into the whole notion of the many gods, which at the end we say equals one God. There's a piece in there called the Black Madonna, the mother of the universe. And she's like the feminine principle, the female counterpart to the Lord of the Loom, who we saw at the top of the band. And there's a tradition in the Roman Catholic, and even beyond that, like in Siparia, the Siparia festival with that holy statue where both Hindu and Catholic venerate this one statue, and they go through this whole procession. We're drawing on that tradition of the Black Madonna that appears all over the world. That segment ends with a piece called The Lord of the Dance, Superstar. And once again, we're exploring the whole theme of spirit in movement, in dance. And that leads us into the Tapestry of Spirit.
It would take the band of about 3,000 revelers 1.5 hours to parade across the stage at its last competition venue, 12 hours after it began the parade route. And it's not without irony that Peter Minshall concludes his fantasy theme about interconnection with a dramatic exclamation point. If Mass, as is the general view, is, and always has been, street theater, then Minshall believes his performance art certainly has a place in today's setting. Wendell Manwarren talks about the band's statement as a tribute to the grand era of traditional Mass from the late 1930s to the 1950s.
The end of the band is about transcendence, getting to another space. The tambour bamboo is an ancient sound, a very ritualistic sound. Somewhere in between the drum and the steel pan came the tambour bamboo. And it's a percussive instrument, so we're looking forward to shaking the Savannah stage with the sound of the tambour bamboo, a natural sound. So we're pulling from things that we already have here, just putting them in another context, and hopefully they sync and they mesh. And we could get, as I say, get the kind of feeling we want, because it's about celebratory noise.
This man, this lady, and Cecilia, and Roger, and Todd, and Steve, and Catherine. You want to know the truth? Just before Christmas, I gathered them together and said, I can't do it. It is impossible. I cannot carry this burden for yet another year. And they said, Mr. Minch, go and rest. Trust us. We don't want you to mash up. We will bring the Mass. You have witnessed a miracle here tonight. To think that they, in good grace and faith, went back 20 years to honor Bailey, who was a master of the cloth, to have two wonderful performers play a Mass with the stillness of Strasser in the midst of all the movement, and to be so disciplined. Mass has discipline in it too, you know. It is not just a free-for-all fete. I tell you, I do believe in miracles, and I do believe that there is an attitude to work and art in this country that is astonishing, awesome, very alive, very healthy, and very well.